Well, I thought that I could take some time after the game. It's about 10:30 right now, and after the Pittsburgh Steelers 30-15 loss against the Miami Dolphins, and I thought maybe I would feel a little better about the loss. But nope, I don't, and I don't know if I will until hopefully I win this upcoming Sunday against the New England Patriots, which of course right now after today's just embarrassing loss doesn't really feel like it's on the table right now. Now of course things change every Sunday, as the Steelers found out today. But yeah, not confidence inspiring going into next week. But on to today. Yeah, I'm as I don't know if I'm baffled. It's just frustrating and disappointing. And I guess you're not shocked by it because it is the NFL. I didn't think I thought the Dolphins had definitely their problems, but I was trying to point out some things that said, hey, the Dolphins are going to be better this week than they are going to be weeks before, and some of the numbers that people like to throw out that I think kind of mischaracterized who the Dolphins were. People talked about the league's worst rushing offense, second worst rushing defense, but on a per carry basis, they were about average. And as the Dolphins' offensive line got healthier today in a big way, with Brandon Albert coming back and Larry Tunsil coming back, it kind of throws some of those stats out the window. But to the point, it was an awful game for Pittsburgh, very similar to the Eagles game. Even if the final score wasn't as egregious, it felt almost the same way. The offense couldn't do anything. David Todd's been talking about it for a couple weeks now, about Ben's home and road splits and the big disparity between them. I would love, maybe we will, or if someone out there has the numbers or has the time, to take a big deep dive into that and compare what Ben's done, home and road, versus other quarterbacks. I imagine other quarterbacks are going to be much worse on the road than they are at home, outside of a select few, let's say Tom Brady and Drew Brees maybe. But I'm just curious. Obviously there's a big drop from Ben home to road, but I'm curious how that compares with other quarterbacks in the NFL, because some of those numbers, for them to really work as effectively as possible, you need the context and the whole picture, and their relative numbers, so you have to compare them to something in a vacuum. It is hard to say, but regardless of all that, Ben was just bad today. And yes, he played hurt, but even before then, he wasn't strong. And then after the knee injury, which as of the recording right now, he's getting an MRI tonight or tomorrow morning. Hopefully we'll find out sometime tomorrow. It'd be nice. Today, Monday, if what his status is. But I imagine he's going to play next week against the Patriots. He did finish out today. No, that's no guarantee that a guy's going to play the next week. But I imagine he is going to play. It's going to be sore. I'm sure he'll be limited in practice, but I think he's played through worse. For better or for worse, and I think he will play against the Patriots. But yeah, I mean, again, he's the engine of how things go, and he really struggled today. Teams are taking away Antonio Brown, and that's not uncommon. That's not new. They've been doing that for a couple of years now. Ben's talked about it. Todd Haley's talked about it. If you ever watch the All-22 tape, you see it. But I think the fact that obviously the team was hurting so much weapons today, with Sammy Coates very limited and Marcus Wheaton out, and the impact of no Martavis Bryant, of what he brought to the table last year, and how you really couldn't send all your focus on AB because Bryant was such a big play threat. Now, Coates has done the same thing, but I think it's taken some time for teams to warm up to that. And again, obviously today, a day where Coates' impact wasn't felt really at all, you could put your whole attention on Antonio Brown. It's very similar to what happened week 2, what Steelers did to the Bengals and A.J. Green. The Bengals, they lost Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Jones in the offseason. Tyler Eifert was out and still is out. There was no other number one threat to worry about in the receiving game other than A.J. Green. So you roll everything to Green, you take him out, you force the other guys to step up. That's what Miami did today. They forced Kobe Hamilton and a limited Coates, and Darius Hayward-Bay, who was in and out of the lineup with cramps, and then tight ends, Jesse James and Xavier Grimble. Those guys beat you. Hey, they beat you. You took away the Steelers' best strength, like the Steelers did the Bengals and A.J. Green. So that's not going to really change. So other guys have to step up, and they have before. And when they have, the Steelers win, and when they don't, the Steelers have struggled. So that's kind of the bottom line for that. But yeah, another poor day for AB, just because trouble getting open. 4 catches, 39 yards. He's on pace for still really strong numbers, but not anywhere really close outside of touchdowns to Antonio Brown numbers. I think he's on pace for something like 109 catches or 112 catches for just under 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns. So because of the lack of weapons elsewhere, and lack of health and depth, AB's suffering a bit. So if Ladarius Green can get back after the bye, that'd be huge. If he can get back for the Patriots game, that'd be maybe a borderline miracle. But I think once he comes back, if he comes back, assuming he comes back, it might alleviate some things because now you can't play too high safety to leave the middle of the field open when you have a big seam threat like Ladarius Green. The run game was good. It just, the game situation kind of had him fall behind. I probably would concede that they could have run the football a little bit more concentration on running the football. Only 10 carries today for Le'Veon Bell. That's near the lowest of his career. That's ties the lowest of his career when he's been fully healthy. There's only one game he's ever played with less than 10 carries. That was the game against the Bengals November last year where he got hurt halfway through and ended up missing the rest of the year with his MCL injury. So I know game situation dictated that a little bit, but it was never, a giant lead for Miami until late. So probably, could have done better there because he did run the ball effectively. Bell was, bar none, the best player on the field today for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Offense, defense, special teams, you name it. He was the coaching. He was the best guy. So I felt like a little, more than a little, was probably left on the table for Le'Veon Bell. But yeah, offense just a mess. Too many penalties. Offensive line. Villanueva, 4 penalties already this year. Just 1 penalty last year, playing a lot sloppier than we're accustomed to and expected to. David DeCastro with another penalty as well. You get behind the sticks and plays that killed some drives. Field position problems. Not gonna help you at all. No red zone trips at all, which I don't know when the last time that happened to Pittsburgh. Was not making a trip in the red zone. But yeah, it was just Bell and Hayward base touchdowns, the only bright spots on offense. Defensively, it was the tenets of the Steelers defense are good tackling, good pressure, stopping the run, not giving up the big play, and they failed in all 4 areas today. No sacks on Tannehill, hardly any pressure. To their credit, they got the ball out quick. They were designing the play calls and the scheme to get the football out quick, but no pressure on him. The tackling was iffy at best. Tomlin, pointed that out right after the game, and it's hard to disagree with him, and I'm not going to disagree with him. The run defense was maybe as bad as it's ever been under Mike Tomlin. I think it was close, or maybe the most yards they have ever given up under Tomlin. I think it was the 2007 game against Jacksonville, Tomlin's first year, where they ran for over 220 or something, but I think Dolphins came in at 224 total today, or right around there, and the running back, Ajayi, had a 200-yard performance, which almost never been done. Last guy to put 200 plus on Pittsburgh was Fred Taylor in 2000. The last guy before that was Joe Morris in 1985, and then O.J. Simpson in 1975, and John David Crow in 1960. So it's funny that it's almost every 15 years this happens. 16 years from Taylor to today, but it's not really funny in the moment. It was awful the whole way around. Run fits were bad, tackling was bad, assignment. They were not assignment sound. They weren't physical at the line of scrimmage. They got beat up on the line pretty good. Just kind of every issue that you could have. And run defense is an 11-man job, and they kind of failed across the board. Now, I think by the time that you see this video, because I think it's going to go up first tomorrow morning, and at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, I'm going to have a post that breaks down a couple of those big runs. It's not going to show everything, but some of the issues in the secondary with some of the corner run support. That's been poor, some possible changes there. So if you're watching this now and you haven't seen that post, either it's not up or you haven't just gotten around to it on Steelers Depot, be sure to check that out or wait the next half hour to see it. Because I think it shows a couple different things that happened there with some of the poor run support from Ross Clark with Artie Burns, which was not the entire reason, or not even close to the entire reason the run defense struggled so much today, but it definitely was part of it, of creating a couple of those runs that could have been good runs, but they turned into great runs and field flipping ones and ones that started drives and things of that nature. I think I broke down 3 plays in that just based off the available TV tape right now, and once the coach's film comes out, we'll probably dig into it a little bit more. But yeah, so tackling, pressure, run defense, and then not keeping a lid on things. Steelers have done a great job of that all year long, of not giving up the big play. And the games that they have, which is really just one, the Eagles game, they got crushed. They gave up 2 today. They get crushed. They gave up 2 passes. One went for 39 to Jarvis Landry. One went to 50-something to Gray, the tight end. Both were just, bad assignments, individual breakdowns. Already Burns and William Gay. So, that guy's making the same mistakes as a rookie guy. So you can't just say it's a rookie issue. It's an everybody issue. But yeah, you can't give up big plays like that. They are big plays to put the Dolphins in goal-to-go situations. They capitalized, I think, on the one they got a touchdown, and the other one they got a field goal. But either way, just not acceptable. Giving up chunk plays in the run game. Not even sure how many chunk plays there were today, and it depends on your definition of a chunk play. They were probably at least, I don't know, 3, 4, 20-plus yard runs, and of course the 62-yard run at the end of the game to kind of put the final nail in the coffin. But very uncharacteristic of Pittsburgh the whole way around. And so, you're not going to, like Tom said, you're not going to win football games when you turn the ball over the way they do. Ben had some horrid interceptions today. You can't play run defense. You don't control the game. You don't control the clock. You give up big plays. You don't produce enough big plays on your own. You aren't able to extend drives. Your field position battle isn't great. They probably lost the field position battle, I'm sure, if you look at the final numbers section. Almost certain of that given the turnovers. So, trying to find bright spots. Again, Bell was great. Hopefully you get some health back for the Patriots game, but just trying to make sense of it, and I don't have a whole lot more answers than anybody else. It's the run defense that really gets me. We've seen the other stuff before, but just to be this bad against the run, even knowing that Cam Hayward is out, you get Golden back. Vince Williams have been playing well. It's just to allow a 200-yard game like that for this team, even though it's not the Steelers of Dick LeBeau of the prime years of those guys, of Aaron Smith and Casey Hampton, and in the prime, James Harrison, Lamar Woodley, yada yada. Very frustrating and very disappointing. And that is not how this team's supposed to play. They're not going to win if that keeps up. So it's going to be a tough challenge against New England, who has a field day of tape to go through and see how the Steelers got exploited. And if Miami can do that, then you shudder at what Bill Belichick can do. So tough sledding ahead. We'll take you through the week, though, if you can stomach it. If you want to figure out what went wrong in this game, we're going to try to make sense of it with you. And I know it's tough right now, but the Eagles game was ugly, and the Steelers bounced back with 2 great wins over Kansas City, a good Kansas City team, and then beat up on the Jets as well. So let me know what you guys think about this game. I mean, I already kind of do based off of the comments in Depot and on my Twitter account. But agree, disagree with my thoughts, adding on. I'm sure you guys have your own opinions, and definitely look forward to hearing it. So I'll cut this video short now because I think you probably don't want to hear more about a 30-15 loss, and neither do I right now. So we'll get through the week together, and we'll tackle New England. So we'll talk to you guys soon, and thank you for watching.